Friends, in the session Let's Interact, we have to discuss the speech. It has various sides to cultivate effectiveness. A skillful speaker of English language must be capable of modifying his own voice. The tempo of speech helps the listener to accept what he has actually listened. Afterwards, he would be react and repeat the same. A spontaneous activity of the speaker is a tempo of speech. He may deliver his voice as in a normal way or in a very slow way, or he can adopt the another faster voice pitch. One has to make his own style in the delivery of phonemes. The variations might be the nature of phonostylistics. For example, a great person says that, "Give me blood and I will give you an independence." Mr. Charwak says, "Big, borrow and enjoy." Likewise, the second type of speech delivery is quick in its instance. One might be hurry, or he has no time to waste, or he may be completing his duty of speaking. The third type of tempo of speech would be normal. It would be used by educated persons in formal situations as well. The slow tempo in class environment, the discussion and interactions needs the slow pitch delivery of voice. Further to it, the specific rhetorical effects is necessary for actual effect on audience. Let us know more about the intonation. Language is a habit forming process. Likewise, practice of rising and falling intonation must be carefully done by presenting the model sentences before the learner. The practical application of sounds and speech must be demonstrated with the help of certain tables, substitution tables. Question answer practice may also helps the learner, and it is one of the familiar technique with the dual purpose. Preparing and presenting oral drills, single as well as multiple and concord completion drill will be taken by the teacher or the instructor. The another element, that is the conversation, needs conscious efforts to develop the linguistic characteristics which inherit in competency of conversation. Again, the reading from blackboard and readers may help the learner how to intonate within the linguistic items. The limited vocabulary may widen with the help of the blackboard use. Reciting poems would also helpful because verse is more memorable than the prose. Listening of the great speech of the orators will be helpful to intonate the linguistic elements. Production of stress. It is the term. Once the stress is understood, production of stress, its practice, its demonstration and marking of stress in words and sentences, these things are also understood by the teacher. Marking stress on syllables in words. After the pronunciation of the word, the students have to mark the syllable on which the stress is given. The sort of practical work is to be done in the classroom by the students. In order to organize this practical work in the classroom, the teacher shows the word on roll-up board which he has written beforehand. The teacher pronounces every word. The students repeat after him. Students then write the word in their notebook. The teacher marks the stress on the syllable in the word. The students also mark the stress in their notebook simultaneously. Then, marking stress in sentences. It is expected that the students should mark the pattern of stress in words in the sentences. The teacher should select simple stress pattern for this practice. If the sentences are of 2 syllables like run fast, be quick, wash them, and the sentences are of 3 syllables, the stress patterns will be like this: clean your hand, we know them, he grows corn. In this way, the teacher should select sentences from the textbook and the stress patterns in the sentences should be first practiced orally and then should be marked in the notebook. It will be helpful for developing rhythmic speech. Demonstration and practice of stress patterns. If we desire to develop rhythmic speech of our students, we must be able to present models of rhythmic speech in front of them. First, the teacher will demonstrate the stress patterns in the class. The students will imitate the teacher. Later on, the students will practice independently. Thereby, they will be able to acquire rhythmic pronunciation in speech. The vocabulary of the students will increase and at the same time the language content will also grow. The teacher should then gradually change the stress patterns, demonstrate them and ask the students to repeat after him. In this way, there will be continuity in the practice of stress patterns. The another way is the practice in splitting the words in syllables for stress. In the beginning, we have already seen the concept of syllable. The stress in a word is always on the syllable and words has one or more than one syllables. The example, the word enjoyment has 3 syllables and the stress is on second syllable. The word building has stress on first syllable. The students must be able to put the stress at the proper syllable. He can do so only when he is able to divide the word into syllables. The teacher therefore must purposefully give the practice in the dividing the words into their syllables. And he should verify if his students are really able to divide a word into syllables or not. While introducing a new word in the class, the teacher should make the students aware of the syllables in the particular word. And he should also get the syllables spoken out by students with proper stress. This procedure will ensure correct pronunciation and grasping of accurate spelling of the word. Suppose the teacher wants to teach or introduce the new word remember. First he pronounces the word. He will ask the class to repeat after him. He explains the meaning in proper situation. Then he will divide the word into syllables. The stress being on the second syllable, it should be brought to the notice of the students and got properly pronounced by the students. The word is remember. Content words, verbs, nouns, adjectives, adverbs, negative auxiliaries are stressed, and the structure words, pronouns, prepositions, articles, conjunctions, auxiliary verbs are unstressed in the English language. In every language, poetry has a specific content. Poetry is closely associated with human being. It is related with the aesthetic aspects of personality. If the listener likes the poem, it directly affects his heart. So verse is more memorable than prose. Poetry therefore directly helps to bring about rhythm in speech. The reciting of the poems in proper rhythm give pleasure to the students and they are motivated to speak English. Every teacher must be able to recite the poem in proper rhythm. In the lower primary classes, the teacher should recite a nursery rhyme or a poem in the lesson. He should recite it first and ask the class to recite after him. If it is done in every lesson, it will certainly bring about rhythm in speech also. The child-directed speech needs the proper attention by the facilitator. So, therefore, cultivate the habit of singing and reciting the poems and rhymes in himself first. Then, the teacher can create liking for poems in students. When teachers begin singing, students will
First one
joyfully
is
join
immediacy.
them.
A facilitator
They will
must
also
have
sing
to
and
give
recite
the
the poems
hint
at home. Thereby, the rhythm
to the
in speech
child
will
without
automatically
wasting
grow.
time.
And in addition,
Secondly, the
interest in
spoken
learning
words must be
the
concrete
language with
within
pleasure
development
will
of
also
language.
multiply.
The grammatical correctness of the speech elements delivered time to time before the child. Use of simple sentences makes the motivation, and the use of easy structures fulfill the urge of speaking without hurdle. Vocabulary of the speaker must be joyful, short, and simple. The utterances must have the good pauses for proper example. Proper repetitions and slower rates of speech gives the ear training. Intonation within the child directed speech have the meaningful role. It affects the meaning of sentence. In fluent speech, there is pausing before and after thought groups, also called intonation units. A thought group is a word or a phrase or a short sentence with a syllable stress pattern and an emphasized focus point. As you follow the syllable, stress patterns indicated by the letter sizes and spacing of the thought groups in this story. Likewise, a couple is walking down a dark alley when suddenly a man jumps out of the bushes waving a gun. "Don't shoot," I says the husband. "We will give you all our money." "Oh, I don't want your money," answers the guy with the gun. "My whole life nobody ever listened to me. Now I am going to make you sit down for an hour and have a conversations." In this picture, the person may be contrasting to the pausing between thought groups. There are very few pauses within intonation. Instead, the sounds of words are often connected or linked together in one four ways as listed further. We have to see what are the characteristics of good speech. A good attention getter or hook. This reels the audience in from the beginning and they are more likely to pay attention. A speech must have the clarity, the definiteness of message, the consciousness, and the interesting story must have been delivered before the crowd. We needs the proper attention while delivering a good speech. A person have been delivered his speech within the picture there. Try to find out the secret of this picture and write down in your notebook the same theory, whatever may be used by this orator within his speech. You can use this table, that is the planning of speech writing, and fill out the subheadings within this table. Thanking you.